Hey guys, it's Al from Outro Stick Channel, and today's going to be a little bit different. This is going to be, as they put it, in, I'm quoting, a lesson in the return from judgment. So, some of you were called up already overnight, and you are returning back with a new sensibility and spiritual sense about you. And so, I have been tasked with going over a refresher course. So many people who went up apparently are part of the Catholic or Muslim. They're part of the organized religion aspect to humanity, and so you are going to be coming back in different stages as opposed based on your understanding of what the world is around you, and kind of you have to go through like a debunking download of information during the process. So let's begin with what happened at Judgment. How'd it go? If you're back, let's be very clear, you chose to come back. You were not here by any other reason. You were not tricked here. You decided that you wanted to come back and fight for Eden, essentially. So in that way, let's be very clear. I don't have a lot of patience with people who come back and bitch and moan that it's going to be hard. Yes, it is going to be hard. You are being realigned with your life purpose, and you have been very off of life purpose. All of us have. And so it's not a judgment call on that. What I'm saying is that don't bitch and moan the entire time now that you've been reset. It is something that you chose to come back to. You were given an exit, and you decided that you weren't going to exit, and you wanted to fight for life. Well, then that's exactly what you're going to do. You're going to fight for your place in a new mindset for the super consciousness. So be very clear on that, and why I say that my patience is low on this. And this is not going to be like a preachy thing, because I'm not a preacher. I'm definitely not a clergy person. I am just tasked with speaking truth. So you're back, and you are a warrior. You are here to endeavor to do your best to live your purpose and live in your light and live your truths every day that you are back. You have about 6 months timeline to study and get yourself back on point. So let's begin with Judgment. You were called up to Judgment, and it'll appear very different for each of you depending on your faith or whatever your religion is. That is not my business. That is your personal relationship with Source. During the course of the next 6 months, you will be debunking all of that in order for you to understand that God is not the vicious, patriarchal, judgy type of dude. It's a blend between a male-female entity that is universal and is part of the super consciousness. And you're going to be aligned with understanding and basically having to get rid, brick by brick, of what that means to you. And so the more that you hold on to this religious thing where you say that God is judgmental and that you are in judgment, then the longer you're going to be in judgment. So I strongly suggest that you let that part go. If you returned, then you saw what you needed to see, you got the download that you needed to know, and now you're on course to kind of make the next 6 months count. So for me, it was 6 months. For you, it could be a year. It depends on how slow you take this and if you take it seriously or not. Here's the thing, though. Foolishness is not going to be tolerated. So I just want you all to know that. If you thought the divine of the past was going to be what you got back here, where other people were going to be able to absorb your arrogance or your ego, or be able to absorb your inability to confront what you need to confront, you are sadly mistaken. You will not last long. Just putting that out there. That's how they phrase it. Your alignment will be very, very swift, and you may not like how it ends, but that is not my baggage. That is yours. But be very clear that this is a different mindset. You are stepping into a different world. Do not worry about the politicians. They will face judgment, and most of them will not be returning. If they do return, they're going to have to really fight for it, and they're going to have to really if they were not living in their truth, and if they were hypocritical and doing things like the clergy were doing, where they were raping children and then speaking on behalf of God. Those people, don't even worry about them. That is not your drama. That is their karma, and it's going to be very rough if they come back. Most of them will not. This is not an uphill battle. This is just an internal monologue between you and the divine. And I'm going to call the divine the divine. Going forward, I'm not going to go and stop every 2 seconds to say God, Allah, Buddha, Confucius, whoever you pray to. In this sense, it's the divine, and that's that. You can call him whatever, her, whatever you want, it, whatever you want, but when we're talking in these lessons, it's going to be the divine, or source, or the universal conscious, whichever I feel like saying at the time. But that is universal for all of the deities, and if you don't like it, then this is not for you. There's other people you can go bitch and moan to. And I have a sharp tongue at the moment because of the way that they're making me say certain things. It's not a judgment call on you, it's just that we need to cover a lot of territory very, very quickly. And so understand that this is going to be for a lot of people that are going to be now awakened to the real realities around them. And it's going to be very, very complicated to stop every 2 seconds to speak just to you. That is between you and the divine. Remember, that is part of the process. You are removing the ability to not be accountable for your own life. You are now accountable 100% for your life, and it's up to you to do the work. So you come back from judgment, you find out what you need to know, and on the return path, you are told that you're going to be in right alignment, and you're going to be a little hazy and confused as to how you got where you are, and all you know is you're going to have these internal intuition bursts that are going to be guiding you in your life forward. If you're a man of science, this is going to be an uphill battle for you, I'm just going to tell you right now. If you can't suspend your limited mindset, you're not going to go very far in this. This is for people who basically told God, the divine, they told them, I'm willing to fight for this. I'm willing to remove the limits to meet our new fate, to meet the new Eden, to change the way the world operates. That is who is coming back. If you are not those people, then please go to another channel. I don't have time for that. This is for people who want to take this seriously and want to become abundant in the new world of whatever that will be for the consciousness. The entire world has been reset. Nobody can argue that. Everything came to a standstill for a virus that is not going to affect most of you. But you were called to judgment, and so you're on the return trip back. So here's what they want. They want warriors. They want people who are limitless. They want people who create. They want people to push the limits. They want people to think outside the box, and they want you to really incorporate your intuition and follow the gut. I'll give you a perfect example. Here in New Orleans, Louisiana, I lost my job like everybody else did, because that means that I'm being realigned. And so part of my purpose is what I'm doing right now. And so I had to lose that last bit of that part, and it doesn't bother me at all because it's all an illusion anyway. But here's the interesting part. Leading into this, you guys remember that when I was realigned in January, my life came crashing down around me in order to make this happen, because I lost my job, and then I lost my apartment, and I ended up homeless. So here in New Orleans, FEMA has decided, this is what I was told by the 2 homeless people that have survived the wipe last night. FEMA came through last night and basically took all of the homeless and put them in basically camps, tent cities. I'm warning everybody very carefully. I'm giving FEMA and the government the benefit of the doubt that they didn't just do this for the general welfare of those that are employed or those that have houses, but that are doing it for the betterment of the homeless. There are 3 key demographics that you are needing to spend a lot of time focusing your energy on. Children, the homeless, and prison inmates. Any one of those 3 that are affected dramatically or put as a lost cause will be karmic debt that we must pay this lifetime, and so things will get rough. I suggest that the first thing you do is check your humanity and get it back in place. It is not about you and your family if you wish to survive. This is about the collective. This is about group mentality. This is about you owning and being responsible for not just yourself, but for your community. If you are not capable of doing that, please let the divine know and check yourself out of this. This is for warriors. This is for those people who are ascending, who understand the process of spirituality. The world is not accidentally reset. This is unprecedented. Get your head in the game, if you will, or you will not do well. So understanding what you're doing, you're basically going to follow your intuition. It's going to guide you. And your guides or your spirituality will be the number 1 key. The more in alignment you are with yourself, the easier it'll be for you to communicate with the higher sense of yourself, higher consciousness, or source, or the divine. That interaction is key to how you will survive or how you will fare in this new transitional phase. This is still a transition. You are not guaranteed entrance to Eden. And I'm not even sure you can see me right now because the sun's in a weird place. I probably should turn around. Sorry, hold on. In any event. So as you are realigned, you're going to face a lot of different obstacles, and you're going to have to kind of go navigate around them. Now, here's the thing. I cannot stress this enough. These are all illusions. These are things that only are not just affecting you, but they're affecting the globe, or at least it's perceived to be that way. But the truth is that's not true. These are just illusions. These are scare tactics. These are what lower frequencies do in order to get higher frequencies to panic and to act in ways to jeopardize their ascension. Because here's the thing, like I said, if FEMA did this in order to protect the homeless, then I'm fine. But the moment that it's found out that you did it in order to protect the mass population and not those individuals, I'm going to remind you of the Bible verse that says that the people that will rise are the people from the dirt. They will rise from the dirt. They are key to how we do as our children, and especially the new ones that are about to come from this quarantine. A lot of you are about to have babies, and these are going to be special babies with special beings in them that are here to navigate the new world that we are creating. You are transitioning. You are becoming a sacred being. You are not accidental. You are here as a warrior from whatever your origins are. Get your head in the game. Now, you've been given a task in order to, basically, those of you who are just awakening, there's going to be 3 levels. There's going to be level 3, which are people who are ascending and almost mastering. 2 are the ones who are still fighting back and forth with it. And then, of course, there's the first wave, which is the people just awakening. So the people just awakening, this affects you the most. And it's not that bad. You're basically going to be tasked with going back through your family line, and specifically your past, and connecting the pieces of where your responsibility for how everything played out is your responsibility. These are things that you agree to, whether you think that you were victimized or not. It is the removal of victimization and the responsibility take over. You are finding your spiritual connection with Source, and you're going to do so with a smile on your face. I'm kidding. It's not going to be fun. For me, mine started with somebody trying to kill me, point blank, execution style on the ground, and sent me into a dark night soul. That is why I have very, very little tolerance for people who are going to bitch and moan and whine. The people who are becoming elders, which is what I affectionately call them, these are just beings who are connecting with their super consciousness. As it descends, they're ascending, and so they're meeting right now in the middle. These people have been through hell, and you're going to hear them, and you're going to see their stories as they come on board. Actually, most of you will get downloads of information about these. These are considered masters. These are masters essentially having already chosen who they are going to embody in this new transitional phase. This is called, I would refer to this as the transitional phase. The next, I'd say about the next 6 weeks. And each zone is going down. New Orleans, I know for a fact, I was walking to work today until I realized I didn't have a job anymore. Which means that I have no economy, no money, no thing, and you see I'm not panicking. That is part of ascension. Understanding that these are illusions, you are definitely protected, and the quicker you understand that none of this is accidental, and that you are truly protected by your guides, angels, your ancestors, your family that have passed on. People who died from the coronavirus are warriors that are probably protecting families. Understand that you, when you go to sleep, your entire household will go to sleep, so will the kids. No one will be allowed near you, you are safe. The sooner that you do that and you accept the call to judgment, and the faster you are accountable, and the faster that you are able to actually assess and come with integrity, honesty, and humility to the divine, you will be returned if you choose to. If you choose to stay, or you choose to go to heaven, or whatever your religious belief is, then go right ahead. We are fine without you. You are blessed to have the opportunity to do that. So don't squander it and think that this is just going to be as it was. It's not going to be that way, and the things will get rough for you if you try to. If you act against the divine, it's not the divine that will take it. It will be the universal laws. It's the universe, the cosmos that is stepping in, the super consciousness that is basically resetting the planet in order to get something new and new creators and new things happening so that it doesn't affect the universe the way it was. This is a reset, so it's just a mental thing, right? So the sooner you're able to do that, the faster you're back, and so that's who I'm speaking to. So for those of you who are back, you're basically going to have to go through your past in a very analytical way. Things and topics that you thought were overcome, that you still are connected to, like a balloon, where you still have a string to you attached to that anchor, to a past hurt, to people who victimized you, to people who did things to you, where you did something to someone else. You're going to have to work through all of that. And you're going to have to do it on your own merit with the divine, trusting your intuition. And that's not easy per se until you get it. Once you surrender to the fact that you are responsible and ultimately for your happiness, the sooner this goes for you, and it just starts to go faster and faster and faster. Here's the thing, though. It's almost a crash course, and I'm just going to tell you guys that now. Many of you are so off alignment that it's almost like you are being challenged to even step up to the plate. And if you came back from judgment, then you are You essentially, and I'm not kidding, you said to the divine that you are willing to fight tooth and nail for your ability to get the abundance that is guaranteed to you based on your ancestry, based on why you were even allowed back. These are good souls that have the possibility who just got lost on the way. If you are not one of those people, you will fare horribly here, and it will be painful, and you will suffer, and it will not be a wonderful experience. So let me be honest with you. Be honest with yourself. If you can't do it, then you start telling the divine that, and they will exit you out. This is not a place for you to bring back your big bag of bullshit and your victimization and, oh, woe is me. This is for warriors and people who are willing to change limits and to push them. Right? It's a tall order, I know, but I did it, and so did a lot of people, and you can do this. And I did it under extreme circumstances. You guys are doing it collectively. You have each other. We didn't. We did it on our own, by ourselves. This is a singular journey, but in a collective mindset. So this is about the world changing the way that they operate. Obviously, the pentacle, or the money, if you will, has changed. It is not valued as much because most of us don't have jobs, and we don't know how long this lasts. Let me just be very clear with this. This is an illusion to test your temperance and your ability to see through the veils. At some point, when you are in right alignment, you will come to understand that there is a blackness. There is no future in present time for us, and that does not mean that we all die. What that means is that until you are connected with your monad or your super consciousness, there's no point in revealing you what's to come because you have no reference point in order to understand it. So don't be afraid of it. Embrace it. In fact, you're wanting to get to the point where you don't dream anymore. Remember, your task is to pick up the pieces from your past and basically assess all of the information from all of your experiences, take responsibility and accountability for every, well, the same thing, over it, and then just pull the data and let go of that connection to it. Because you cannot go into the future. It's a quantum leap forward. You're going to be catapulted into a new space, a new energy, a new way of living, a new mindset. It's all very wonderful, and it's completely loving, and it's probably the most loving thing I've ever encountered in my life. The energy where we're at is so it's just magnificent. I cannot explain it. There's a peace about me. There's no worry in my mind. My best friend, and he is, kind of pulling away so he can work out his stuff, and I'm totally cool with that. I'm still waiting on my partner, and, time is about to tick away on that, and I may have to go it alone unless he can pull his head out of his butt and get over the ego thing, because in the end, he's the love of my life, so no matter what, we'll be together. These are all topics that you're going to get to, but for now, just focus on your judgment return. So you're back, and you're alive, and you're grateful, and you're going to live in gratitude probably for the next 6 months, every day of your life. If you can't do that, you will not go far. This is about being thankful for the fact that you have consciousness. If we don't want to call it life, let's call it consciousness. If you are consciously aware of your surroundings, and if you're consciously in struggle, then you understand the wonderfulness of life. And so you're going to balance those energies until you get it right? It sounds very heavy, but it's not, guys. Listen to my voice. This is not heavy. This is as complicated as you make it. And the more attached you are to a vilifying, horrible God entity, or someone judgmental, or someone who wants you to spread hate and stuff, let me be very clear. If you spread hate, you will not go anywhere. They will stop you dead in your tracks, and you will suffer. If you spread any type of harm, if you try to even go near an elder and do anything to them because you feel that they threaten your way of life, trust me, it will be painful, and it will be public, and that will affect your ancestral line, and you will be in disgrace. Understand all of those levels to things. This is not about control. This is about the fact that you still have free will, but your free will cannot affect the free will of others, especially people who have fought tooth and nail to make sure that you get this opportunity. The people that are rising in power are not victims. They were, but they were people who were homeless, hookers, drug addicts. These are people who were raped, molested. These are people who have been so victimized, and yet they are still 100% pure energy incarnate of love. You're going to possibly hate them. That's your drama, not theirs. So please understand that it's not anyone controlling you. It's the fact that you are targeting purity, which means that you can't exist in this new phase. It's not a judgment call. It's reality. And then, of course, there is the next part. So once you get all of the information from your past, and I'm going to give you a hint, go back to the 1500s. And then you're going to find an ancestor that you and he or you and she share the most unique qualities with each other. And you're going to then take that information and you're going to compile that. And then you're going to go further down that line and you're going to pick the next incarnation that you had. And then you're going to keep going till you run out of information. The internet is a wonderful place. It is consciousness speaking to you. The universal computer and the divine are one and the same. Whatever created us is basically resetting things, and all you have to do is just have a connection with it and be willing to create with it. That's all. That's all you're being tasked with. It's a very easy lesson, but it's a very complicated thing to debunk yourself. You're going to have to work through a lot of ancestral DNA stuff. You're going to have to work through some karma. But here's the interesting part. If you already went to judgment and you're back, understand what that means. You are so much more advanced than you think you are. You are a warrior. You're going to kick this ass. You're not going to take any bullshit, and you're going to do it with respect to the divine and in your integrity. If you can do that, this will be fast, 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 and you won't have to worry for 6 weeks. You will start seeing the benefits of your life quickly. And you are protected. If you can gather that information and keep that in your head, then your frequency will raise and you will be in love and light, and you're going to be singing more and dancing more, and you're going to want to start working out, and because you're going to be fighting to stay, right? That's what this is all about. You're a brain cell that is actively regenerating itself in order to accommodate what the new surroundings are going to be, and then they will present itself in a very, very interesting way. Your super consciousness is telling you what to do. You need to tap into that energy, right? So it's kind of uplifting. It's amazing. It's an opportunity for creators and beautiful beings in this planet that are going to change the vibration for everyone. And we may see the return of many, many people who we have not seen. It is all up to the creation of the collective. This is a collective measure. Let me shoot this down now. They want me to be very specific. Jealousy and competition are not going to go far for you. You will get stuck in a rut, and you will end up on a separate frequency, and you will never see the people that you love again. The people who are willing to work in teams and willing to work and share the light are going to rise the fastest, and they're going to be doing it with their integrity and their honesty. That is a blessing, and that is something in disguise. Everybody wants to be number one, but you can't be number one all the time. Number one is the divine. You are a simulation or a replication of that energy. So let me just be clear. Even the divine works with other beings. Okay, so now we're up to that part. The next phase is going to be you understanding your relationship to the planet and how Gaia, or whatever you want to call it, is interacting with you. And I'm going to be very clear. Karma is very specific. Animals, insects, bugs, everything that you think is gross, you better get in alignment with it because they're all one and the same. At some point, you will reach the enlightenment path. The mountain will present itself to you, and you will climb that mountain. And you will start to debunk all the crap that you thought was not your problem. If you kill a mosquito, it's not as it's still karma. You're still connected to that. And so understand that life has a way of moving you in the direction it needs to. So if you are afraid of things, then you are going to face those fears. Understand that too. If you are afraid of death, then you will at some point die. If you are afraid of immortality and vampirism, then you're going to attract people who drain your energy, not your blood. Understand the way that this works. It does not show up the way you think it does, but it shows up and manifests the way that you make it happen. If you experience this in a way that is judgy, where you're feeling like you're not going to make it, then you're not going to make it, and you're going to encounter hell on earth. And that is not it's not my problem, but I'm showing you compassion by just telling you, don't do it. It's not that serious. It's a reset. It is you basically just saying, I can be limitless. That's all you need to do. It's just a mindset, y'all. So once you are in a place where you are in the enlightenment era and you're climbing the mountain spiritually, you're going to be taken on a path. This usually starts with esoteric actually starts with astrology because everything is cyclical and times spirals. When you understand that, then you're going to be taken to Mr. Mead, probably, who does a wonderful job of esoteric astrology. And he explains the differences in them and how they describe your personality and what the personality as a body is versus the soul. Then you're going to merge the soul with the body, and you're going to understand that dynamic. And then when that happens, you will choose if you want this body or what incarnate, blah, 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 blah. That's why you're going down the path. When you do that, then you're going to be presented with the debunking, and you're going to have to master some things. Mental restraints, your mental bullshit, all of the things that you thought were true, your ego has to go. You cannot enter the next phase with your ego. You are going to be humbled. That is the way this works. You're going to get over your mental, your emotional, your physical, and your heart. and all of the heartbreak and all of the stuff that you've encountered. You're going to have to let all that go, and you're going to master it in order to let the ego then die. The new ego will be built in a way that is for your best good. You have already agreed to this in judgment, you just aren't aware of it. When you get to it, you will master it, and then you will be able to do what's next, which is take all the information that you have and create your arcs. The arcs are very basic. The arcs are basic consciousness. There are a lot of people who you are surrounded by that will not be able to make this journey. So you're remembering them, and you're adding the things that you like or dislike about them will keep them alive, and that will provide them with an immortality that will allow them to one day manifest again. The people who are not remembered, that did nothing and isolated themselves, were hateful, vicious, and all that stuff, are not remembered. They will be wiped. That is the way that works. That is the dead brain cells being shaken off. When you emerge from that, you will wait in patience until the divine and the masters assess where you're at the 6 months mark. They will give you an exit, or they basically will be a question you will need to decide. Do you still want to stay now that you have earned your right to heaven, or earned your right to keep going, or do you want an exit again? And then you will decide. Then you will basically allow and surrender yourself in entirety as a soul to whatever the grander design is. And you allow it to do what it needs to do in order to make what needs to happen next a possibility. And that is one of the hardest things to do. But you see my frequency. You see how loving I am, and how like I'm just in the cloud 9. And so you're going to have to get debunked this idea that you can't dream. In fact, the bigger you dream, the better you'll do. The more you're in alignment, the bigger the dreams will get. You suddenly will be able to change worlds. You'll be able to jump timelines. You'll be able to do this. You're trying to push these limits. Because what happens is the people who then come back as scientists will also be encompassing this, and then you're all going to work together to prove it, and so then we can progress forward. And so we're entering the age of Aquarius, where technology and dreams are going to merge, and that's the phase we're about to enter. I call it Eden. You may call it whatever the hell you want, but that's the lesson here. That is the pathway forward. And so watch this over and over again until you get it. I've given you a very, very clear outline. Mr. Meat is a great beginning point with esoteric astrology. It'll tell you so much, and then beyond that, you're going to go onto the path of enlightenment, which is just esotericism. And here's the thing with that. When you get to the point where you realize that something was created out of nothing, don't stop there. That is a short stop. That is for people who are still limited spiritually. You're going to have to push beyond that into mysticism and into witchiness and all of that fun stuff that you thought was impossible, because those impossibilities are now your possibilities. Opportunities are obstacles now. You see? And that's where they want me to stop. But guys, you can absolutely do this. You were sent back here because you can do this. You are a person of the divine. You are divine, a replication of that energy. And you are a brain cell that is changing the way that we live, and you're raising the frequency. The next band will be those that return. The elders are becoming unions. They are joining either a platonic, well, actually most of them. If you're an elder, your monad is going to basically absorb you in a way that connects you with the person you're already with in the 5D. Remember, these are timelines converging. So it's the 3D, meaning the physicality world, the etheric world, which is the 4th dimension, and then the 5th dimension, which is all about the soul and all of the highest self. Right, the super consciousness connecting in. There's still higher limits, which you'll learn along your path. But that's what's collapsing into one right now. And so that's why we're getting the pressure cooker, and that's why things are going to have to pop. Now understand, when this resets, when everybody awakens and everybody is on board, you're going to still need about a week to kind of get your bearings, because a lot of you who are misaligned completely, that did not do the work and are totally like kind of thumbing your nose at it, are going to wake up absolutely confused, and it's going to cause a lower frequency, which that is a little bit of a horrible situation. Remember, your job is to rise above the craziness and understand that life is a blessing. Everything that you see as an obstacle is an opportunity for you to grow. The world is resetting because we have to, guys. Every one of you, and this is very important, could not handle the pressure. You eventually would have to surrender yourself and say, I can't do this, God. And many of you prayed for death. Many of you prayed in order for this to happen. You wanted the apocalypse, and you got it, and now everybody's freaking out, and they're pissed off. You signed up for this. That's why you're here on the planet at this crucial time. We are changing the vibration of a sacred planet. She is becoming sacred. You who make it with me, and I do mean me, well, not just me, whatever that me is, because we're all the same, and you're going to learn that along your path. Every one of us is just another incarnation of the same thing. We're all one part of the divine, right? So think of it in terms of brain cells. Everyone's still functioning from the same brain, and you're all tasked with different life paths that you're all supposed to do. And in order to find the best blessings for you so that the divine is blessed and that we can evolve in that way, we all need to do what we came here to do. And then when you do, you get the judgment call. And then when you do that correctly, then you get to move on to the next phase. And remember, we're trying to regenerate the way that we do things in order for the divine to successfully accomplish their part in the universal law of reality. And so we're bending things, we're changing things, we're doing fun stuff, we're going to be breaking limits. The masters are returning, Christ consciousness is coming back, the Buddha's back, all of them are back. And so as these elders rise, understand that those are the people who have carried Christ consciousness since birth unknowingly and have suffered insurmountable amounts of bullshit that you can't do. And the reason we know that is because you're freaking out over a virus. It's not a judgment call. It's to keep perspective of where you're at. Because you can ascend so quickly once you embrace who you are. And if you want to really rise and you want to be amazing and you want to feel the energy of where I'm at and peace and love, and I'm not talking about hippy dippy shit. I'm talking about, honestly, there is not one thing that has fazed me since this has begun. Not one. And the veil that is there's a clear divide for all of us who are basically at the like this until Saturday. Saturday is a big fucking day, ascenders, for masters, the ones that are waiting for the monad. The moment you have your foot on that fucking thing and you're about to kick off and you feel it. Saturday is your day. Everybody else, you will be returning and you will find this video. You will know who I am and you will know who most of the elders are. Some of the elders don't know that they're elders or the chosen ones yet, but you will know. You will stare at them and it will kind of be an indication to them as they make their way to Saturday that they are in fact chosen. They kind of feel it, but they don't understand the energy yet. And so for many of them, they don't know who they actually are as far as the monad is reaching down. But they're still a little bit nervous and they haven't just put their hand up. Okay, I'm ready. Just be ready. Just go. Put your hand up. And you will become one. And so you will all know who they are, but understand that for the next couple of days, they may not know who they are. And it's kind of a little fun thing. The rewards are boundless. Everything is possible in the world that we are entering in. The politicians do not wish them ill will. They are getting their justice. Justice is being served universally to everyone on the planet. But guys, 99.9% of human beings are good beings. They are part of the divine. They are just a brain cell activated in this illusion or this trip that we're on. Mind trip. And so you're about to inherit a beauteous utopia, if you will, but without the bullshit of utopia. Utopia implies that you will only ever experience negative experiences, because utopia would mean that everything's perfect. Perfection is not possible because it quantifies that something is better than everything else. That is not where we're going. We're heading towards Eden. And you are going to be creating the arcs to carry your family and your ancestors as you make the transition into sacred beings. And that is part of this process. So that's it for me on Al and Altruistic Channels. I hope you found value in this. I hope those of you who are returning understand how blessed you are and understand that it is not as hard as you think it is. It is only as hard as you make it. You are a loving replication of the divine, and you have everything you need in front of you. So just remember who you are. That's it for me on Al and Altruistic Channel, guys. I'll see you next lesson. Alright, guys. The next wave, I believe... Oh, they said Friday. So tonight, there'll be another wave that goes in for Judgment. Just remember, guys, you're protected. You are so protected. There are beings and energies all around us that are guarding everyone. That's why everything is so kind of quiet right now. There is a peace across all of the land right now. And it's because you were guided to be safe. And the sooner you embrace the sleep that comes, the 3 days of night or whatever you want to refer to it, you will wake up a brand new being that is capable of mastering this illusion of this life. And the moment you do, then you create life again, and you create new worlds and new possibilities, and you create an abundance that has not been seen in this world. And you will be given so much beauty in the world. This is what you're here for. You are fighting to become kings and queens, and then eventually emperors and empresses, high priestesses and high priests. You are being given Eden, and you have the keys to it. Let yourself be free. That's it, guys, for Al and Al Altruistic Channels. Be blessed, be safe, good luck.